Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. I am doing wonderful. Everyone is great over here. Um, we're gonna make a card today. As you can see, it's baby themed, and that's because we're gonna have another grandchild. This will be a second grandson. We have one from my eldest daughter, and now my eldest son is having a baby with his wife. It's great. We're super excited, and of course now I have to make a baby theme card. But it's good. I mean, get out of the Christmas and all the holidays, right? Just do something different. So I'm gonna use this stamp, Mommy Swissie by CC Design. Whoa, that almost made me stutter. And as you can see, this stamp is well loved. I've used it quite a few times. It just comes out super cute and makes for a nice card. So we're going to use that. And I'm going to use some of these Color Your World papers from Crafter's Companion. And it's because it's bright and, you know, just a lot of life in it. And there's a lot of life coming into our family. So I think is the right paper to use. We just got to choose one. Of course, we're going to have a white background. So let's see what we like. I kind of want to go with the butterflies because even though it's a boy, or maybe this one. This is cute too. Maybe we'll go with this one because even though it's a boy, you know, the mommy's going to receive the card. So you want to make sure that it appeals to her as well. And then we could just like color her in purple maybe, and maybe make the carriage in blue. I think that'll all work. And we'll tie in some colors from here. All right, so I'm gonna get some white paper. I'm gonna get my stamping platform, some ink, and I'll be right back. Okay, so first we're gonna do our card base. And I normally don't do that on camera, but we always gotta assume that there's someone new here and they're wondering, how do you make a card base? Do I have to buy them? And you don't. You can actually make your own. If you have like 110 or 100 pound cardstock that seems pretty thick, some people would even do 80. I just like 100 pound. I like my cards to be very thick. But that's just my personal preference. And you would take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and you're gonna cut it at 10 by 7 right there. And we have that. And now I'm gonna get a scoreboard. So this is a guillotine. There's different kind of paper trimmers on the market. There's some that have a little blade. There's some that have a wheel, that a rotary tool on it that just cuts it. But I prefer this one because I get the best edges. After a while with the little blade ones, my experience, they get worn and then you start getting kind of like these jagged edges, and I don't like fixing stuff that much. Especially something that should just be a simple clean cut. Now, if you don't have this, you can just use a ruler, mark it, and cut it by hand or by a rotary tool. You just line it up against one of your lines on your mat, and you can cut it that way. So you don't need any of these specific tools to do this. You use what you have, and that's it, right? So we're gonna score this at 5 inches, which I cannot see right now. Okay. And I'm gonna do just a couple of scores, so that way it bends easier. Now, I'm not the best cutter. Like there's times that I do this and I've either cut too much or too little. So I normally just butt it all against the edge right here. I fold it up and then I crease it, and if I made any mistakes, that'll fix it. Okay, so this is my card base ready to go, and we're gonna put that off to the side. All right, now our image, this is the hammer mill paper. It's very smooth, and I kind of like it for my stamping. There was some inks that I mean some papers that I bought that in the beginning they were great, and then as I kept buying them, when I would color, the inks would just spread out too much, and that was not good. So I'm just gonna put her in some kind of a corner, leaving enough space around so I can trim it out later with a die. And we'll probably put her on right there so I have enough space. And then we'll get our stamping platform. Give me 1 second. Okay, so excuse me. I'm using my Tim Holtz platform. This one, I think you could still get it on Amazon, but it's not available too much in the US anymore. But if you're on any of the European sites that you shop from, you can probably pick one up there. So I'm just going to put tape here and here just to hold it in place. I'm not a fan of the magnets. For some reason, my platform is a little bit warped. And there's certain spots, you have sweet spots and you have spots that is like, and normally I forget where that's at. So I'm just going to put that there. If it's too much, then I'll just stamp it a couple of times. And that's it. So I'm using alcohol proof ink. If you're going to use watercolor, you can use something like your VersaFine or any of your archivals and stuff. But since I'm going to use watercolors, I'm going to use alcohol ink. I'm going to use a water-based ink so my alcohol doesn't move it. The one thing good about using a stamp quite a bit is that once you've used it quite a few times, it like holds the ink so good. It looks really pretty. And these are photopolymer stamps, so they always stamp nice. Okay. Perfect. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and also stamp out a mask. Because I'm not gonna cut her out. I'm actually going to like create a background around her, so let's do that. These are just regular post-it notes, but they're the full stick. So you don't have to worry about it lifting or anything. And it's cheaper than some of these masking papers and stuff that I've seen. I'm just seeing if I have to add a second one, and I do. Okay, so normally I would die cut and everything after I color. But I have been known to ruin stuff after I colored it, and that's a lot of work to put in. I mean, it's easier to cut a little bit of paper than to color the whole scene over. So I'm gonna do this first. And these are actually some tag dies. There goes my stutter. Let's get that off. And I'm doing this because I want kind of a different shape, right? Just so it can pop a little bit differently. We'll see how it looks. If not, it's staying that way. It's already cut. Got to keep going, right? All right, so maybe like that. And I like these dies because they're not perfect. They're actually not even cut perfect. One side is different than the other because it's a tag die, and I kind of like that. So I got them off of Walmart, by the way. Very inexpensive. All you got to just put in tag dies and they popped up. They're generic, so I don't mind buying generic ones off of Amazon. And there we go. So we have that cut out, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut my blue piece now that I'm here. And this is just one size up, so we'll get a nice border. And just sticking with the blue. the baby boy. This through. For anyone who's starting, there's a lot of die cutting machines, even on Amazon nowadays, that are generic. Um, if you don't have the money to buy something expensive, don't just buy what you can, and it works the same. They all cut the same. I've used different brands, and they all pretty much do the same thing. So there you go. All right, we're gonna put our mask on her now, and I cut out the top part of the carriage separately, and there's a little piece here that I know I'm gonna regret cutting it, not cutting later. So let me get rid of it. Okay, let's see. Okay, and just try to cover her up. And if you need to trim a little bit more, you can. All right, there. And maybe this one. So we don't get some white lines, you know? All right. And now we could put the carriage on. So now we have our mask. Okay. Let's get some inks. And let me see. Definitely going to bring in the green for the bottom, but I think I'm going to do the yellow on top. A light yellow, very soft, just because I don't want to darken it too much. If you darken it too much when you put it on the dark blue, it's just going to get all washed out. And if I had a third dye, which I do, but it was too small to cut her out from, you would have matted in white as well. But since I don't, I want to keep at least this trim as light as possible so it still pops, right? So we're gonna go with maybe the squeezed lemonade, which is a light green. I mean a light yellow. So I'm thinking of the light green where it's at. And then maybe the twisted citron on the bottom. I think it's gonna look too yellowy, but maybe we'll just shadow it in a little bit. It should be fine. And now we can get our brushes, and we're gonna use the light for the green. Oh wait, no, I have a light green brush. There we go. And a yellow. If you don't have something to put underneath, just grab a little scrap paper and you can use that. So like I said, this is easier than coloring my whole thing. So if I mess up the coloring, it's not going to hurt that much to have to redo this part. And we're just going to add some yellow. Here we go. Just a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to add some green. It's funny. These brushes, I have bought them on Amazon. And way later, I saw that Crafter's Companion made a similar one. But since I already had these, I'm not going to go ahead and buy new brushes. All right. I'm going to try to avoid the wheel a little bit because I don't want to put too much color on that. But then for her, I'm going to go ahead and get that color in there. Okay, and let's go back to our yellow. It's such a slight difference between the two colors, but it's just for the illusion, right? So I'll come back with the green and just hit the corner on the bottom a little more just so it could look a little darker. And then we're pretty much done with it. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be perfect. If at the end everything ties in, that's what matters. Okay. If you wanted to add any shimmer to it, now would be the time because the white parts are covered up and you won't mess things up there. Give me 1 second. And I think I do want to add a little bit of shine to it. So let me get that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to be testing two of them. I have my sparkles from Crafter's Companion. And I've never used the yellow one. So I want to see what it looks like. Let's see. It's really... I think I like that. It adds like, kind of looks like gold. And yeah, I think that's the one we're going to use. I'm not even going to do the white because I know what that looks like already. All right, so let's cover this up. And let's grab some of our yellow. It's not going to be a huge difference, but it'll be enough to notice it, at least in person. Let's see. You really can't see it on camera. Let me see if this brush does it better. Okay, now we got some big splotches there. Okay, I think that's enough. We don't need too much. And when it dries, in the pictures you'll be able to see it better. All right, let me clean this mess up and I'll be right back. Okay, let's take this off. And there you go. I just love the way it pops. I'm going to save these. These will get a couple of uses. And now we could bring out our alcohol inks and start to color that up. Okay. Again, okay, had this been like if we didn't know the gender, then I would probably gone with like green tones, and I could have put her in red. I could have put her in orange, but I think I'm just gonna do the purple. But we're gonna start off with the carrots just in case I change my mind. And as I do with everything, I just do the light color first. Leave a little spot in the center open. I'm not careful at all. I'm just scribbling. The only place I'm careful is with those edges because I already did the background. You're going to come with your darkest color and go under everything that would have a shadow. So assuming this ruffle was lifted a little bit, you would have a shadow there. So that's where I'm going to put it. I am no expert in coloring. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who do this for a living would see my coloring and be like, well, she Didn't get it quite right, and that's okay because this is a card. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it. And we're going to do this. I'll color this part with you guys, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Just because it's going to be time consuming. And I don't want this video to run super long, but I think it's always important to show you guys this part in case there's someone watching that has never used alcohol inks. You learned something new, right? Okay. And now we'll come in with our light color. So since her bottom is a little higher, I'll probably leave some spots there. And we'll adjust it as we add the darker tones. Maybe here. On the bottom. And these are the places that I would just watch where I'm coloring. When I get it closer to me, then I'll be able to see if I missed any spots. And I would put a little bit back here. Not too much. And now we'll come in with one of our other shades. And we can really start blending all that in. And now we'll start bringing in the mid-tone. The light tone. And you could keep doing that until you find the blend that you like. And if you wanted to bring in a different color purple, you still can, because this is light enough to bring in a darker tone if you want, which you might, because I'm not really crazy about that. But let me finish coloring this and I'll be right back. Okay, so before I do her skin tone, I'm going to do her hair. And it's because since it's going to be brown, if I go into it, at least I have time to blend it out. And we're going to start off with the lightest color, like always. And I'm just going to try to be as careful around her skin as possible. And then I'm just going to kind of just add color. I'm sure there's a lot of tutorials that show you guys how to do everything better. But like, again, this is not supposed to be so super realistic. So just do your best. Okay. Let me remove that tape. All right. And now I'm just gonna flick some color in, and everything is gonna look horrible for a while until it doesn't. Okay. It's kind of gathered there, so see, I went a little bit into the heart, but the heart is gonna go darker color, so it doesn't matter. And then you start bringing in your midtone. And you're going to keep doing this until everything looks like normal hair, right? As close to it as you can get. Where you can see the little lines, but again, don't stress out about it. If it's not perfect, then just blend it in. Salvage your image. That way you don't have to start over. That's what I do. And I will keep going between all three of the colors and being mindful of that light space I have. Some people leave a little bit of the white showing. I rarely do that. I just go over it with my lightest color. And we'll keep blending. The whole thing is in a couple of strokes, right? And trying to follow that pattern they already made. Sometimes it's easier when it has none. But and sometimes it's easier when it does. I don't know. It all depends on the situation. Okay. And then lastly with our lightest. And I think we're done there. I think it looks pretty good. So you see, it looks like she has a highlight in the middle. So I'm gonna finish coloring her hair and I'll be right back. Okay, so before we start cutting out our pattern paper and stuff, I'm just gonna add some shimmer and shine to these guys. And we'll do this last. I'm gonna add a little bit of glitter here. And all of this is like personal preference. Whatever you decide is fine. I think I'm gonna add polka dots to her dress. I've done that before and I've liked that look. So, and also brightens her up a little bit. Again, these colors were not my favorite, but we're gonna make it work. So we're just giving her like a polka dot dress. Let's put one down here. And it just like really pops now. So if you're not happy with your color, then just add stuff to it. Okay. So we have her done. I'm not going to do the bow. And then you have to see if you want to add anything to the carriage. But I think I'm going to just add a little bit of shimmer to it. And I think we'll be done with the carriage. Since this is water, don't get close to those black edges because you'll smear that ink. So just add. Okay. And now we can go in and add our glossy accents. And I'm going to put some on the heart. And I'm going to put some around the wheels. And we'll do the bow. And I'm even going to do the bow in the back. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, let it dry. I'm going to cut this pattern paper down and I'll be back. Okay, so we're going to stamp our sentiment, and I came on to do this real quick. I'm trying to hurry up through the video because it's super long. Probably have to edit some stuff out. All right. And let's do it one more time. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out and then we'll put our card together. Okay, so now we're going to start assembling, and hopefully this goes a little faster. All right. I want to pop this one up. So we're just going to add some foam tape. If you're just starting and you don't have the budget for the larger rolls, then go to the Dollar Tree. They have foam tape there. Works just fine. And then you can see if you have a feel for it. That way you're not wasting money on things that you're not going to use. Now normally I would have put glue on it to have time to move it, but I didn't. So now I'm going to have to trim it down because I kind of got it crooked. But we'll do that later. It's no big deal. Okay. Now you have to decide how much do you want to pop up here. I think the only image I'm going to pop up is what I colored. So we can glue these down together. That's pretty too. Okay. And let's line that up. And we could just slide that down and press it. So we have that with just a little green trim. And now we can put this one and let's glue that in. Okay, I thought I messed up my image. So we're just gonna put the glue. all these little lines really help line it up. So I think we're pretty good there. And we could put this down here. Let me see. It doesn't look awful, but I am going to trim it a little bit. Just a teeny bit. And this might be a huge mistake, but I have to try. Let me just get something to help me push it. And it's just going to be a teensy bit. That's it. All right. It just straightened it out a little bit. Perfect. And now we can add some glue here. And we're just going to line it up with these two lines. And just get that as in the center as possible. And that's pretty good. And now all we have to do is pop her up. If you have the foam sheets, use that so you don't waste so much of this. But I'm just gonna cut this up. All right. And we can just put these in here. And that's the bigger one. And we're gonna need one more piece. Okay. I am gonna add a little bit of glue. Oh, wrong glue. Just so I have time to move it. And it makes it stronger, so that's always good. And more or less there's fine. And we can press. And that's my card. I'm going to come back and add some gems just to make it pop a little more. But all in all, it looks super cute. You can add it. You can add a different color here. But since it had the stripes, I didn't think it needed it. I am going to add some little gems of color, and that's it. But that's my card. Totally baby inspired. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. And thanks for hanging out with me while I make my first card for my new grandchild. And of course, this will wait a little while before they get it, but I have extra paper left over to make a tag to match. And that's gonna be it. Put our panel on. And I kind of had fun having a little change of pace from the holidays and stuff. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.